Hey, good Tuesday afternoon, everybody. BAM weather meteorologist Brett Waltz here, giving you a live forecast update here at the BAM office. Starting off here, if you haven't seen it yet, here's a look at our in-house portal, our radar that has range rings, lightning detection, great for events, great for golf courses or any other outdoor activities. If you haven't checked this out, you know somebody that may find use out of it. Be sure to contact us, info@bamwx.com. We can get you some more information on this product. Again, it will give you lightning alerts down to the second of when they strike to keep you and your event safe when severe weather hits. So let's go on to the next slide here, if I had my clicker on me. And we can see, taking a look at our current temperatures outside right now, you can see not too bad for this time of year. High temperatures are usually in the mid-30s for this time of year, and we are 40 degrees in downtown Indy, 54 degrees near the Louisville area. We're still in the lower 40s up near Chicago. You can see 43 degrees here just west of Champaign, 45 in Peoria. So it is a fairly mild January day, and in fact, if you take a look at our temperatures for tomorrow, we're talking about even warmer daytime high temperatures. We're talking about mid-50s for a good portion of central Indiana. So let's take a look at our next slide here. You can see as we switch our slide over that we are going to see temperatures in the mid-50s. I do think that if you're in southern portions of the state, there we go. Sorry about that, folks. Going to move to our climate report, and then we'll touch on high temperatures for tomorrow. Our clicker here isn't quite working, but take a look at our January climate report. We are dealing with temperatures 11.8 degrees above normal so far for this January, only through January 13th, but that is the fifth warmest on record to this point in the season. Similar years, 2007, 2000, 1998, and of course after that big rain event that occurred over the weekend, we're nearly at 4 inches of rain for the month. We are more than 2.5 inches of rain above normal. We are the third wettest January on record to this point, and we still have more than half of the month to go. So certainly looks like we're going to be up there, probably in the top 10 before the month is over as we work throughout the rest of this month. Let's take a look here at our high temperatures for tomorrow. Obviously, we're 12 degrees above normal for the whole month, and if you take a look tomorrow, we're going to be about 20 degrees above normal. 54 degrees in the Indianapolis area, 54 degrees in Danville, 53 degrees down in the Bloomington area. Widespread 50s across the state for tomorrow. And if you take a look at a wider view across the Ohio Valley, you can see Lafayette 52, 44 degrees even up into Chicago, Milwaukee, and Madison are all above normal for temperatures tomorrow. This warm pattern is continuing, but we are starting to see a little bit of a change. If you take a look here, we do have a cold front that is going to work through the area as we push into your Wednesday. Could lead to some scattered rain showers across the area, not going to produce a whole lot as far as precipitation. It's going to be very light. The bigger story with this is a look at the temperatures. You can see well above normal here for temperatures tomorrow, but take a look. We start to pull in that colder air down into the Midwest, into the Ohio Valley, and that will set the stage for a more wintry system possible as we work into your Friday. So if we go to our next slide, you can see behind this front, a very strong area of high pressure that will set up just to the east of the Ohio Valley into portions of the Great Lakes and into the Northeast. And with the sinking motion related to that high pressure, we're going to trap some of that colder air at the surface. And so what can happen as we work into Friday, as we get our next storm system to work into the area, we've got a shallow area of cold air setting up across the Ohio Valley. It can lead to a bout of perhaps some snow and freezing rain and ice accumulation for a couple of hours on Friday night before we warm temperatures up above freezing. So if you take a look, this is the latest GFS model. It hints at by 7, 8 o'clock on your Friday, a line of some freezing rain working across central Illinois, central Indiana, and into portions of Ohio. And I do think that it could lead to some very slippery conditions there for a little while on your Friday evening and into Friday night. And of course, this is where some of our services can really come into play. If you're a school, if you're doing snow removal, having contact 24/7 with a meteorologist can really help out and save you money during an event like this, especially one where a couple of degrees can make a big difference between a light glaze of ice and all rain. And we know that a light glaze of ice can lead to major havoc on the roadways. We have seen it before, and I don't think that this time is any different. Before we get to your questions, and I'm happy to take as many questions as I can, behind this system, this is going to usher in a pattern change. If you take a look, these are Sunday morning lows. We're talking about 15 degrees, mid-teens across central Indiana. Back into Ohio, we've got 20s and teens. And then take a look up here into portions of Iowa and Minnesota, below zero on your Sunday morning. I do think that we're going to be dealing with some very cold temperatures as we work into the forecast. So happy to take your questions. We can look out for those. That 15 degrees would actually be the coldest temperature so far this January. Our coldest temperature in Indianapolis so far this January is actually 24 degrees, which is just crazy that we haven't had a temperature even below normal at all so far this 2020. So let's take some of your questions here. I'm going to take a look at Facebook. Vince and Kirk are taking a look at YouTube and Periscope, and I will take a look at some of your questions here. So let's see what we have. Is it possible for a time later on Friday as well as ice before rain works in? Oh, that's Kirk's. Yep. Let's see here. Thank you for doing these. Way better information than anywhere else. Thank you, Chris. We really appreciate that. Snow, Angela, maybe for a brief time on Friday afternoon. Can't rule that out. But I don't think that it's going to cause much in the way of accumulations. As things stay now, we saw how that last system went. Can't rule out the risk of perhaps some light accumulations, mainly off to the north in portions of northern Illinois and further into the upper Midwest. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Keith. That is very nice. So are we getting snow or ice? I assume you mean for Indy. If you're elsewhere, feel free to comment. But for Indy, I think that we could have a brief round of some freezing rain Friday evening. Obviously, we're still several days out, so things can change. And then I think that we change over to all rain as we warm those temperatures up above freezing into your Saturday morning. Probably just a couple of hours of freezing rain and travel issues. Love you guys. Thanks for what you do. Thank you, Rachel. Let's see here. What is snow or ice accumulation totals? Way too early to get into that yet. Models are still shifting around. We'll get to accumulation risk as we work later into this week. Need a big snow, maybe February. Maybe. we keep kind of pushing back the big snows more and more, it seems like. Right now, we don't have any systems in the cards that look like big snowmakers, but you never know. Some of our biggest snows the last couple of years have come in March and April, so we still have plenty of that, plenty of cold season weather left to come. Richmond, what are you seeing for us? Again, you may have a brief period of some freezing rain on Friday night before we change over to rain. How many more weeks until spring? I don't know. 6 more weeks until spring? Yeah, I think that, I actually do think that we've got some good spring weather coming this year. Maybe wet, but I think that we'll have some decent temperatures.
Driving from Bloomington to Milwaukee on Friday at noon, do you think I missed the ice?
Friday at noon, yeah, I don't think that it comes in until later. It shouldn't be until the evening hours on Friday that we start to see the wintry precipitation come in. When is your next update so I can tune in? We always try to do live streams on weekdays in the afternoon, sometime after 1 or 2 o'clock or so. So be looking around that time. That's typically when we do it every day. But we also like to keep it a little bit of a surprise for people to tune in. So we may just randomly come on, and feel free to check us out then as well. But I would be sure to look, again, in these afternoon hours on weekdays. Much colder next week. Yes, I do think that we've got a colder pattern coming in, at least for a time. I think the 5 to 10 day period or so is probably going to be several degrees below normal here, maybe 3 degrees or so, which is a huge change. It's going to feel like a massive pattern change considering we're averaging 12 degrees above normal so far this year. When is spring coming? I don't know for sure. We've had spring-like weather. We're going to have spring-like weather tomorrow, so enjoy it because I don't know for sure when spring is going to officially show up. Matthew Jones, I love my paid subscription. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you, Matthew. We appreciate you tuning in. Feel free to like and share this so we can share the BAM live for more and more people to see and to spread the word about our services. Will drive time be affected south of Indy? Assume, Don, you mean on Friday? I do think that for a brief time late on Friday evening, we could have some issues south of Indy. I'm ready for a snowstorm. Brooke, I wish. Haven't had a lot of luck so far this year. Pretty much all in November and early December. Any Arctic blast coming? Yes, I do think that we've got a couple of chances for some more Arctic air. It just may not be set in stone where it's a 2-week period of Arctic air like what we saw back in 2013-14. I think it's probably shorter lived, more ups and downs, and probably a decently active pattern at least into February. What do you like covering more, snow or thunderstorms? Oh gosh. Kirk, what do you think?
Well, we get a lot more thunderstorms than snow, so it seems like I think thunderstorms are more exciting, me personally.
I think it depends on what. I enjoy covering severe weather. I think that's a lot of fun. Just regular old thunderstorms, those don't excite me very much. I would say that if it's just regular thunderstorms, then I'd probably rather cover snow, but we just haven't had a whole lot of it as of late. Of course, I'm from Louisville, so we only average about 13 inches of snow, so we're about at what I'm used to already so far this year. We have had more thunder than snow this month, yeah. Maybe we'll make up for it later. That would be an interesting historical stat to look up. How much thunder? How many days with thunder have we seen in January's? All right. Any other questions? No more questions on Periscope. I want severe storms this spring. I do too. I would love to cover some severe storms. How fun would it be to get here up on the green wall and cover some severe weather across the Ohio Valley with our, again, our weather radar that we talked about earlier. You can see it here. I would love to be talking about some of this. Hopefully, obviously, nothing damaging, nothing that would cause harm to life or property, but some severe weather would be fun to track here on the green wall with our portal. We would love to be able to do that. We can show you how the range rings work. Of course, if you get in within that 10 and 20 mile an hour or 20 and 10 mile ring with the lightning, they will light up red and they will send out alerts to our clients. So we would love to be able to show you how that works live. So would love to have some severe weather this spring. Do you know if February will be cold? I think that maybe early February can be cold for a time, but I do think that there's another warm up possibly in the cards as we work further into February. I want to build a snowman. Daniel, me too. Not going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. Yeah, go up to Wisconsin or Minnesota or the Dakotas. They're getting plenty for all of us this week. All right. I think that's all we have for today, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Of course, we are going to continue to do these live streams. Please feel free to share, spread the word, share this post. We want to get more and more people on here to see what we do and to be able to share our passion with them. So again, tell your friends, share this post, like it, and I hope that you all have a great rest of your Tuesday.